Another big-time signing for the San Diego Padres. A power bat is headed to the Friars lineup. Gavin Sheets, the latest acquisition as the Padres offseason continues to heat up. What's going on, everybody? I'm Christian Pedersen, back with another episode of Padres Digest. Thank you very much for tuning in. I know that a lot of you guys are new to the channel, as we've seen here. Most of you are not subscribed yet, so I got to call you guys all out. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. The season is right around the corner, and we're going to go from intermittent updates to shotgunning ton of Padres content at you all season long. That includes things like bringing you information on the newest San Diego Padre, Gavin Sheets, signed to a minor league deal after the White Sox released him. Sheets, 28, going to be 29 this season. There's a lot to unpack here. There's the immediacy of the numbers are not fantastic overall in terms of long-term projections. He is a .230 career hitter, has a negative WAR, has some slugging issues, has not necessarily lived up to the consistent hype at the major league level that he had coming into the draft in 2017. But let me start to unpack beyond that a little bit what we've got going on. Number one is we've got the Padres spending, and that is great because up until it appears the Padres were waiting for Major League Baseball to come out and unanimously vote John Seidler, the control person of the Padres, maybe provide some clarity and unity and direction for the ownership situation, if you want to call it, with the Shildt-Seidler lawsuit, still technically in existence in probate court, but now seemingly resolved on the Major League side. We have another video deep diving on that, so like I said, make sure you hit that subscribe button. But step one is that since that vote by Major League Baseball, Padres have been spending. Spending's not huge. This is a minor league contract, but this is another symbolic gesture, at least, of the Padres saying, hey, look, we don't necessarily have any depth. We got to add some depth. So they fill out Jason Hayward and Connor Joe in left field, and then Sheets comes in, and you can roll the tape here. Sheets, he has a big left-handed swing. He has the ability, I think, if used correctly, to be a very efficient and potent weapon. I don't necessarily think he's going to have a bounce-back all-star career year, hit 40 home runs, be something crazy like that. But I think that you have a guy here who has shown, at least in terms of just the raw swing itself, that he has the ability to hit for some decent power if given the right situations. So we combine decent power with where he historically has played, mostly as first base, DH, a little bit of outfield, and I think we're talking about a pretty decent platoon here of we've got now alleging that Terso Ornelas out in left field is going to end up being the guy, but right now is a major league rookie and needs to be a little bit lower on the depth chart. We've got a righty in Connor Joe, lefty in Jason Hayward, who will be the primary platoon in left. And then Sheets is going to probably go over to be first base platoon with Arraez. But now we start to have the ability that, you know, if Manny needs a day off, it's not like, oh my gosh, we got to play musical chairs and everything goes in all these different directions. Oh my gosh, we got to go this way. Oh my gosh, we got to go that way. It's now, hey, we've got, you know, Manny can go to, can take a day off. We can move Connor Joe down to third, or we can move this guy, or we can move Eguy Rosario to third and still have serviceable major league DHs. I think that Sheets being on the cheap is fantastic. I think that you can always take flyers going into camp saying, hey, look, obviously the White Sox didn't want you anymore. They let you go instead of paying $2.5 million. The Padres are paying you at minor league levels. Go out and fight for a spot. And if he can fight for that spot and be part of a revolving door of guys who use them up while they're hot, send them down, bounce them up, bounce them back, trade happens, we let him go. Like, I'll put it at 50-50 that Gavin Sheets is even on the roster by the end of the season. But I will say that he will get something done between now and then, though, that is a fun memory of, remember the Gavin Sheets game. Remember the Gavin Sheets series. Like, I bet this guy has 10 good moments in him this season, and that's where you start to build up this little bit of a momentum. We've said it all along. or at least I've said it all along, the mission is not necessarily, or is not at all, to beat the Dodgers in the regular season. Let them go out and win 126 games. Let them win 165 games. Let them win 300 games in the regular season. Because all I need is the Padres to make the playoffs, and then one of two things happen. Either let the NL go crazy and let the Phillies or the Braves or somebody else or the Mets take out the Dodgers, and then the Padres get a different matchup, or let the Padres and the Dodgers meet again in the NLCS. The Padres only have to win 4 out of 7 when it absolutely matters. So the adventure of just getting there is let's try and win 93 games, get into the wild card, and then win big there at the end. So how does that happen with all of these little additions, you ask? Well, that happens because we start to have depth, and we start to have platoon, and we start to have rotation, and we start to have the ability to, if we can squeeze a couple of wins from this guy here, a couple of wins from that guy here, we get at least to a point where the Padres will be in the driver's seat coming up on the trade deadline and be able to either, maybe even make a pickup or two of just advantageously dumping international money or prospect, like put a package together, or more realistically, do something where we can move Michael King or Dylan Cease to get actual quality value back because we will be in the driver's seat. Or, none of this happens and we end up with a Gavin Sheets-esque season and the Padres do awful. But that's going to be bigger issues of if Manny and Fernando and all those of the wheels fall off of all those pieces. But assuming that the established major league talent that we have hitting sort of 1 through 7 in the projected opening day lineup is where they are at, if not slightly bounced back from last year, then 7, 8, 9, a combination of Sheets, Hayward, Joe, Ornelas, Eguy Rosario, those 4 plus 2 or 3 more, and we'll have a video on the non-roster players who all got invites to spring training that you can go check out. So like I said, subscribe to Padres Digest. I maybe I'm talking myself into this, and drop a comment below to let me know if you think that I'm absolutely crazy, but I sort of start to think that, hey, look, maybe 7, 8, 9 is just throw a bunch of bodies at it and let the cream rise to the top. Or buy Terso Ornelius time, and then once he's our serviceable, everyday hitting 280 major league left fielder, then we've got a surplus of guys who can really go in only in the situations that they are able to be maximally leveraged by our coach. That's just my thought. I think this is a nice signing. I'll show you one more time on the way out because I love power. Dig the long ball. I like lefty bats. That's the bat that the Padres are adding. Let me know what you think, though. Is Gavin Sheets another good signing, or am I just talking myself up for a bunch of disaster and letdown this season? Drop a comment, and like I said, make sure you hit subscribe. Until then, talk to you guys later.